All right, so you split $1,500 between two savings accounts, and we're going to have to figure out how much money goes in each. So account A pays an annual interest of 5%. We're going to want to put that in a decimal form. And account B pays 4% annual interest. After 1 year, you've earned a total of $69.50 in interest. How much money did you invest in each account? Okay, well, we can say, to define our variables, let's say, I'm going to use a different variable this time than x. We will say, let A equal the amount invested in account A. Okay, and then we will say let B equal amount invested in account B. Yeah? So we're using A and B here. Okay. So if we want to write these equations, we have $15 to split. We know right away that, and this is kind of an interesting idea here, we know right away that the two amounts are going to have to add up to $1,500. So we can say we know that A plus B, the amount in account A, plus the amount in account B that we're going to invest is going to equal the $1,500. So that's straight away one thing. We know that those two numbers have to equal that. Okay. Now, if you don't know a lot about interest, I will just tell you that what you do is you multiply the amount of money invested by the interest rate per year to find out your interest in a year. So we can say, okay, if account A has 5% interest, that's as a decimal. Let me pick a different color here. As a decimal, that is 0.05. Okay, and if we do 0.05 times the amount in A, that will tell us how much interest we get from A. And if we say plus 0.04 in account B, because that has a 4% interest, then that will earn us a certain amount of money from each. And when we, as you can see, we are adding those two amounts together, what should that equal? Well, that should equal the total interest that we've earned, $69.50. So those become your two equations. This is a situation that you might be able to look at and say, oh, you know what, it would make a lot of sense for us to, it would make a lot of sense for us to solve for one of these variables, A or B, and then do substitution here and plug it in to solve out the other one. You're going to have to do some decimal calculations here. I know that some of you, when you're not in class, are relying on calculators to do your calculations. I know that that's true, and I'm just going to urge you to practice your decimal and your fraction calculations without calculators so that when you have assessments, you don't find that you don't have the tools you need that you've come to rely on. Okay? So try and figure this out on your own. Find out what A is, find out what B is, and do a proof to see that it's true. Okay, I decided that I'm just going to solve this. Let's do it. We're going to rewrite that equation. I'm going to subtract B from both sides so that we get A equals that 1,500 that's on the right-hand side minus B. And then we can substitute in, and we can say 0.05 parentheses 1,500 minus B plus 0.04B equals 69.50. And multiplying this through, 0.05 times 1,500. I know that, just as a fun fact, I'll do this here and then I'll erase it. 0.05 times 1,500 is really 0.05 times 1,500 is just 15 times 100. And if I then took this 100 and this 0.05, I would end up getting 5 from the 0.05 times the 100. So 5 times the 15, and that's 75. So I've got over here. 75 minus 0.05b plus 0.04b equals 69.50. And let me erase this to get out of the way. Okay, combining like terms, we get 75 minus 0.01b equals 69.50. And if I subtract 75 from both sides, 0.01b equals, and I actually can do that math in my head. There's here, it gets you need 0.5 to get to 70 and another 5 to get to 75. So that's going to be 5.5. And if I have 0.01b, I can divide both sides by 0.01. Another thing I could do, and I'm going to just do this, is I'm going to say I'm going to multiply it by 100. Multiply both sides by 100. Because when you do that, 0.01 times 100 is just 1. So you get b equals, and this times 100 is 550. Okay, so we've got a b value of 550. And if we then take the other equation here, actually let me move it up a little bit, do it a little higher. A plus b equals 1500. And I know that b is 550, so I say a plus 550 equals 1500. $550. Sorry for my sloppy numbers. It's hard to write so small. Then we get minus 550, minus 550, and we get then A is equal to 950. So we get then as an ordered pair, let me pick a different color to make it stand out. We get as an ordered pair then 950, or really actually let's answer it for in terms, instead of an ordered pair, let's answer it in terms of what the question says. How much in each account? Well, we could say account A equals $950. Account B equals $550. And that would be your answer, because that's the question that they were asking. Yeah, so that's number 9. I just want to point out that in the book's answer, in the answers on the bottom of the lesson 6.-4 page, you'll see for number 9, it describes it as 950, 550, but then they actually miswrote it and said 950 was invested at 5% and 850 was invested at 4%. That's a mistake. They meant to put 550, and you can see that their original thing where it said the solution to the system, they used the number 550, which is correct. So there was a mistype in there, and be careful about when you're checking your answer on that one that you're using 950 and 550. The 850 was the typo.